Our panel will be about peer-to-peer in general. How peer-to-peer is taking our world to a new level, or just to a new logic, just to a new type of ecosystem. And let me very briefly introduce the gentlemen. Later, they themselves will tell you how amazing things they are doing. So, Mike from R3 Security, they are moving data around in a way that by the burglars going to your home in London, your home is in New York, not literally, translated to the world of data. David from Lendo, they are lending money based on cryptocurrencies. It has several immediate and several indirect implications, but trust me, it's a very smart thing to do. Adrian is coming from Argentina, and he is running a special wallet. A wallet where the users become the managers of the funds within the wallet. Almost the new concept of a credit union or a savings cooperative. But Adrian will tell you much more about it. Jean-Philippe is doing peer-to-peer data. Peer-to-peer data. What is this? He will tell you in detail. Wei is doing something very important. Wei is connecting blockchains. Wei is connecting distributed ledgers. Wei is connecting new type of databases with other new type of databases, and Wei is doing more. He is connecting new type of databases with old type of databases. And Matthew, he is doing what I primarily believe in. Can you remember from the previous panel? What I primarily believe in is identity on blockchain. That is what Matthew does, but he does it in a very smart way. He is not only putting personal identity on blockchain, he is also putting the identity of legal entities on the blockchain, and something even more important, he's putting the identity of machines on the blockchain. So I think this is super exciting, and people like this have never been together in this way. So the floor is yours. My question is only one thing. Convince us, convince me that opportunities are bigger, stronger, and more dynamic than risks in the peer-to-peer world. The floor is yours, and there is one little thing I want to mention, very small thing. Lendo is lending money, David, based on cryptocurrencies. This is not peer-to-peer lending, but this is funding many peer-to-peer activities. So his connection to peer-to-peer is indirect. Okay, the floor is yours. Why opportunities instead of risks? Anyone can start, anyone can go.
Hi, everyone hears me? Cool. I think that one thing that we can say as an opportunity behind risk is to take the difference between the mode of financing of ICOs and the normal venture capitalism. So let's say that in normal venture capitalism, you're raising money and you're giving a lot of share of your company to fuel the project. And all your backers are always focused on return on investment. The lowest risk possible, the shortest way possible. This kills innovation. So I think that the biggest opportunity that we have in ICOs is that ICOs concentrate on vision. They are not destroyed by their backers, that they don't force them to go to return on investment right now. They can have a roadmap on 5, sometimes to 10 years, and when research and development is there. So I think that this is a true chance at innovation. That will be my best opportunity.
Clear.
Yeah, so if we are talking ICOs, then don't forget that also retail people, so public people have access to be in so exciting and prosperous companies, but if they have just more money, they cannot invest in big VCs. But What's peer-to-peer to me? Actually, I'm also a founder of Corion Coin. It's a stable price coin for payment. So I think these peer-to-peer transactions then are using blockchain like distributed open ledger. So everything's there, visible, and nobody can hack it. Then I think it's open a lot of opportunity to use transactions. So if I just got David, then we can make a deal, and I can send him a Corion, Bitcoin, or whatever kind of coin, and we can check the transaction on the blockchain, and also we see, okay, what will be the minor fee, how long takes the transactions, and as we are signing the contract, the money has been arrived, and I think it helps to make a lot of deals and new way of doing business.
Hello, David, thanks for your kind introduction about me. Just quickly say I'm Dr. Weibi. I'm the chief scientist of the Zilla Tech, which is the logo looks like a bullseye in the kind of bullseye location in this picture.
Between Lendo and Abacus.
Yeah, the one there. Yeah, like David explained, we are building a decentralized system, namely is actually a public blockchain, and all the technology needed, including the network layer protocols, like the TCP/IP protocols, we changed it to what we call value transfer protocol. We changed the UDP protocol to what we call quick value internet connection protocols, and we changed the HTTP protocol to value HTTP protocol. We make all these protocols from the lower network layer and to make them optimized for blockchains. And from the higher layer, we also developed this public blockchain. We developed our new neural consensus algorithm, which is inspired actually by how the brain works. And we also developed a new architecture called heterogeneous forest network. Essentially, this is what David said, to me, to try to answer your question, what's the benefit of the future peer-to-peer? To me, about this architecture, we are trying to connect all the blockchains. There are many blockchains companies there. There are many projects about the blockchains. And they're trying to compete with each other. They're talking about security. They're talking about the transaction speed, the confirmation delay, these kind of things. What we are trying to do is try to unite all these blockchains together. If you're a company, probably you would like to use Ethereum to build your blockchain, and I have a company, I probably use my Zilla, my public blockchain, and you have a company, you use your EOS. But when you want to do collaboration, how can you collaborate? You have to do cross-chain access. So this is where our idea comes from about the heterogeneous forest network. We want to build this forest network that is a kind of a social governance structure that can connect all the blockchains together. So it's your choice. You can, if you favorite Ethereum, then you can just take Ethereum. And I favorite Zilla blockchain, I take Zilla blockchain. And in the old world, you use your database. Probably many companies are very reluctant to change their database. They're using Oracle, they're using MySQL, and it's just working fine. So we're thinking of a way, this forest network to connect the old world technology with the new world technology. Now back to the question about the peer-to-peer. I think, to me, to say the future is peer-to-peer, personally, I can't say a definite yes answer. I think the future will be kind of hybrid. We don't know the future technology. We don't know the future decentralized ledger system technology. It's definitely blockchain. In fact, blockchain is so early. Probably will disappear. But this kind of a trust layer will be preserved. We think will go lower. Essentially, it will become internet-like. Will be an infrastructure. That's what we are trying to do. So we are building this forest network. We just want to, you take advantages of every single blockchain, right? And also the centralized system. They can, working with each other in this ecosystem, and they can disconnect it. They can have better resource isolation. They can do their own business. Once they want to connect it, they can connect it together. So that would be my view about the advantages of the peer-to-peer technology.
Clear. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Hello. Hello, everyone. So in our case, we are not trying to build a protocol. We take the technology and try to build a business on that. So we are building a mobile app to give access to retail investors to invest in a decentralized way through these kind of funds. But why we do this actually? Because I already asked the investors, what do you need actually to improve the traditional way? And many people, of course, the majority of the people, they focus on the money, that nobody steal your money. This is the most important thing. Not many people are interested if it's decentralized or centralized. So to me, it's more important the security of the thing and the ability the possibility to track your investment in real time in a public ledger. That's why we came with Midas, and what we are trying to achieve is to eliminate these intermediaries from the middle and allow people to organize itself the way they want. So in Midas, you can come, create a fund, and then become a manager, and where other people can invest in your funds and can track you in real time. And this is way more secure because it works with smart contracts on the blockchain or any other distributed ledger, and gives many other advantages: lower cost, security, transparency, inclusiveness. Because how many banks reject people by opening bank accounts? And this is a possibility to expand the business. This is our view in Midas. Basically. And the risk that you asked for, of course, it's a new technology, and we have many challenges ahead, like licenses, for example. But we are trying to approach regulators, because they have to understand somehow that now it's about technology, because we are trying to regulate the technology. A fund which is paid in smart contract can be way more secure than a traditional fund that requires a license for a manager. A license is just a paper, but if you have a smart contract that regulates the manager that is managing the people, so this manager won't be able to do whatever he wants to do, because the smart contract won't let him. So this is way more secure. And also we have other challenges ahead, but that's why we are pushing forward.
Great.
So what we're trying to do at BlockPass is to provide self-sovereign identity, and the kind of immediate kind of use case that we've seen for this is for KYC compliance for people. And it's the kind of whole way to mitigate risk by providing an immutable identity that the person then owns. So I think once you've got a really strong identity solution on the blockchain, it then opens up the blockchain to any other application that you'll need, because everything will need some form of identity. But also moving beyond just the immediate concerns, which is KYC compliance for, say, ICOs, we're also looking at moving on to the Internet of Things, when you see devices and objects that are going to be required to be on the blockchain. We're providing a identity for those things that you can tie immutably and to the objects or devices from birth, which then allows you to use them on the blockchain without the risk of them being changed or altered or failing. So BlockPass is very much a risk solution for a number of different things in the blockchain space.
Yes.
I think for me what's been really interesting about this conference is actually seeing that there's such an open mindset about whether things need to be centralized or need to be decentralized or need to be peer-to-peer. I think early in the days of the crypto community, it was almost kind of anti-establishment. I think what we're seeing is things are going mainstream and everyone's agreeing that, there is no right or wrong. It's a personal choice sometimes for individuals. Some people are attracted to the decentralized or peer-to-peer model. Other people want to go more with institutions. And I think what's really exciting is that, there's a crypto community come from all over the world and everyone's sharing ideas. there's a great kind of cross-fertilization and, things springing up all over the place, which, before you came to the conference, you wouldn't perhaps have thought of. So I think cryptocurrency in some ways is kind of uniting the global entrepreneurial community. And I think for us, we personally didn't go down the peer-to-peer route. That was just because we happened to have a very good relationship, a working relationship already with a lender, some lenders in the UK. And for us, deciding to go with those lenders just meant that in our business model, we had less moving parts, because we now just need to go out and find the borrowers, because we have the lending platform already, we have access to capital, and so it was more a kind of convenience decision. But I think it's good that you can make decisions with freedom, and you don't feel that just because you're in the crypto industry, you now need to be, you need to be Verge coin, for example, which is all about being private and anonymous and, flying under the radar. I think what we're seeing now is that people can, stick their heads up above the parapet, as we say in English, and be proud of what they're doing in the crypto world generally. So that's my take on it.
Great. How much time do we still have approximately? We are okay? We have 5 or 10 minutes more? Okay, great. So, 2028. Tell me something about your activity, your company's activity, 10 years ahead. It can be aspirational. It can be a little bit like fantasy. We don't have to stick to numbers, or we don't have to be very conservative. Just tell me where your company will be in 10 years. I understand that maybe it will not be there, but let's just do this experiment.
I would say borderless lending, lending without borders.
Yes, and do you think fiat currencies will still be dominant?
I think that fiat currencies has to be here to stay, and I think that crypto has to be here to stay. So it's all about coexistence now and working and living together.
Yes, so there will be a coexistence of fiat currencies and crypto, digital-only, non-fiat solutions.
Yeah, so in my view, it's going to take more than 30 years for fiat to be eliminated. But what works better, actually? Crypto, it's no doubt, it's faster, it's more reliable, it's more secure than fiat. So at one point, it will, or either the governments will release a cryptocurrency or whatsoever, because the fiat we are used to use fiat, but in the past they used to be to have this gold parity or so. My view for this industry, I come from finance. I have been a day trader, so I really see a potentiality of through the tokenization of assets. To me, this is fascinating because you can actually give liquidity if you have an asset and you cannot sell it. By tokenizing the asset, you increase your chances of get liquidity in advance. So I see how many of you try to sell a house or whatsoever, and you have to wait several years. So this is amazes me. You can even tokenize anything with value, even intangible assets. So you can create diversified portfolio with this. You can work with artificial intelligence to provide information to the users and improve everything in investing. But I don't believe that everything has to be decentralized. We have to use the cards to say what is better for society and what is more productive. Could be centralized, it could be decentralized. In some cases, it will be.
Great.
Yeah, so I think 20 years from now, fiat will exist, but I think it will be on the blockchain in a digital form. And also there will be some other cryptocurrencies that became worldwide use, so globally used crypto, but not governed by any country or just developed by a team, and it can be also decentralized. And I see all actually I'm also former banker, but I think 20 years from now, not banks will be there, but a lot of providers and devices, wallets, exchanges, and other providers who you can deal your digital assets. And also, I think this company structure, these shares and other kind of shares and shareholding structure will be changed, and in this tokenized world, everyday people will have access to be maybe in the biggest next companies like Facebook or whatever. And I think more peer-to-peer transaction will be there, but we need also some regulations that all the platforms who you are dealing with your digital asset should be regulated and checked, then avoid fraud and scams.
Okay, so to answer your question, I'll start by maybe doing a little more description of what we are doing. So at VNet, we are doing a marketplace for structured data that is destined for machine learning purpose. And so when we speak about 10 years in the crypto world, it's like 100 years. So let's go a little in fantasy, and I'll share a bit what is the vision of VNet. The vision of VNet in there is that we're gonna implement the algorithm to be rent as a service, and as structured data will be pushed in a big marketplace, you'll be able to train your model on the fly in the machine. So if you think a few years in advance, you can think about machine that will code new machine for new business model. So you're gonna have a peer-to-peer AI system that will work together to generate new business model and new added value that didn't exist before. So as soon as this starts, it has almost no end. It's going to become a living organism of its own that will produce new value for humanity. And it has to be done in a right way if we want to avoid some of the danger related to trusting too much in AI. That will be my 10 years view.
Clear. Amazing.
David, I think you asked a really interesting question. After 10 years, where would we be? Oh, it's not my name. So after 10 years, I think people will see a lot of services. Everybody might be a platform. We want some services. We just say, oh, hey, maybe we use a form of smartphone or a computer or something, but we say we want the services. But who provides the services? We don't know. It may be the future of blockchain or maybe the future of internet. This is actually my view after 10 years. The reason is that I think the nature, this has to be a social problem. The nature of a human is that we are greedy and we are lazy. That's why we have technology. Technologies help us to improve our work efficiency and help us to reduce the costs and to make us even more lazy. So that's why we have technology. So from that aspect, right, to really answer your question, what would be like after 10 years, I think we have to go back to 10 years ago what was like. So 10 years ago was the year of 2008. And that's when the Bitcoin was actually invented by Satoshi. Everybody knows that. And from the year of 2008, or maybe we can go even 10 years further to the year of 1998. Everybody knows that at that time, the internet was just become popular. And people probably use the internet only to send information and to download softwares, and after a few years, people start to use, social programs to do chatting, to write emails. That's the development. And from the years of 2008, people start to realize that the data is really important. As one of this gentleman sitting next to me, you are doing data, right? And I also heard a few talks yesterday talking about data.